Our top story, Australia's most successful radio broadcaster has announced his retirement from radio. One-time Australian rugby coach and political speechwriter Alan Jones says he's giving up radio on medical advice. Let's go live to Danica DiGiorgio from 2GB in Sydney. Danica, he has assured his listeners he won't be retiring altogether.
No, he won't be. He will be remaining on Sky News for his nightly programs. But what a career it has been so far for Alan Jones in radio, spanning over 35 years. He was a farm boy on Queensland's Darling Downs to Australia's most recognisable voice. He has a career that spanned 35 years, as I have said, and only very few could rival Alan Jones's career so far. This morning, though, he told his loyal 2GB listeners that he has listened to the health experts, and at the end of this month will be retiring from radio.
For almost 35 years, I've been getting up at 2:30am or 2:45am. Putting together the kind of program we seek to deliver is no easy task. It involves a lot of preparation and research. When the program ends at 9 o'clock, it doesn't end.
It wasn't just broadcasting in the very beginning for Alan Jones. It was from writing to a one-teacher primary school on horseback to a teachers' college in Brisbane to Oxford University. In fact, he actually has a distinguished academic career. There he taught, coached tennis and the GPS rugby team. But that sporting career really reached its pinnacle in 1986 when he coached the Wallabies to a 38-year drought-breaking Bledisloe Cup win. Alan Jones's lifelong interest in politics then saw him head to Canberra as a speechwriter for Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser. But it really was in 1985 Alan Jones took a huge gamble, launched into talkback radio on Sydney's 2UE against rival broadcasting legend John Laws. Their feud was certainly on and off there for a number of decades. But this morning on air, when he did make that announcement, he reflected on the career he has had.
I guess after 35 years, the full stop has to go in somewhere. I'm immensely grateful for the opportunities I've been given to share ideas, to help people, even to argue with people on behalf of someone else. These are privileges in this industry that should never be taken for granted.
Now, politicians and broadcasters are reacting to today's announcement. In fact, the New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian was halfway through her daily COVID-19 update when the breaking news started. Following that press conference, she immediately rang Alan Jones on 2GB. Let's listen to the exchange.
Alan, is it true? I was literally in a press conference and a journalist asked me what I thought about it, and I stopped in my tracks and I had to ask him in front of everybody, is it really true? And so I'm asking you directly, is it really true?
It is true. May 29. Look, May 29, I've had the doctors saying to me, and I quoted from one of those intimidating doctors, well, you're to blame for this because you keep running around and saying we must listen to the experts. That's what you're saying, we must listen to the experts. So I've listened to the experts and they said...
First time in your life, Alan, you're listening to the experts.
That's right. Well, sorry, doing as I thought you were going to say, first time I've done as I've told. But there we are.
That too.
Not many, I think, can say that when they do retire after what has been a very tough journalism career, that they can say that they have politicians and broadcasters around the country congratulating them on what a career it has been. It isn't the end, as I said, for Alan Jones, though. He will continue at Sky News. In terms of 2GB, it has been confirmed that 2GB broadcaster Ben Fordham will replace him on The Breakfast Show. In fact, Ben Fordham tweeted a short time ago, a huge congratulations to Alan Jones on a sensational breakfast radio career. Following advice from doctors, AJ has announced he's giving the early hours away. His television and newspaper work will continue. There will only ever be one Alan Jones. So that certainly is the case, and what a long and illustrious radio career it has been, Tom.
Danica, thank you. Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, has also paid tribute to Alan Jones, giving a nod as well to some of their stoushes on air over the years, I should say. This was him this morning being interviewed on the program.
In fact, you've got me into trouble because you keep parroting on about the fact that we must listen to the experts, we must listen to the experts. So I went last week and the experts decided to put it in writing, do you believe? So I got a little bit frightened. I thought I'd better listen to the experts. Yeah. So here we are.
Well, I think that's good advice, but I'm sure all of your listeners in particular, Alan, it'll be quite a shock for them, having woken up with you every day for so long. And, you know, you've always spoken your mind to everybody, including me over the years. And we've had one or two disagreements, but you've always always done the right thing by your country, and we're very proud of that.
Thank you so much, Scott. Much appreciated.
All the best.
Anthony Albanese, meanwhile, has told Sky News that whilst he and Alan Jones have had their differences over the years, he has tremendous respect for the broadcaster.
He's had a remarkable career. I marched with Alan Jones to save South Sydney and get us back into the competition. He's a complex character. He's someone who, on a personal level, I've had a good relationship with, even though we have very distinct political differences, and I've been very critical of some of the things that he has said from time to time. But it's a remarkable career, and I always felt that when I was talking to Alan Jones, and some people said you shouldn't talk to him, I was talking with his listeners as well. And he managed to keep more listeners than any radio presenter in the country. He's raised an enormous amount of money for charity over the years. Much of it people don't even know about, the range of activities in which he provides support. And on a personal level, I think it makes sense hearing his comments about getting up at 2 or 2:30 every morning for 35 years is quite a sentence. So I wish him well on a personal level, and I'm sure that he'll enjoy the odd sleep in.
Former Prime Minister and long-time friend Tony Abbott has commended Jones for what he's called the end of an era, saying the radio broadcaster dared to say what millions could not.
You've had a wonderful innings, but it is the end of an era. Your departure from Sydney radio, your departure from the airwaves, the radio airwaves, is a big milestone. I've got to say, for many people, it's a sad milestone, because you weren't just someone with an opinion. You were someone with an argument, and an argument based on facts, not on prejudice. And in many respects, you were the voice of Middle Australia. You were the person who would stand up for the battler. You were the person who would articulate what millions of people were thinking but couldn't quite bring themselves to say.
To hear from Alan Jones himself, tune into Sky News for a special edition of Jones and Credlin at 8 p.m. tonight, right here on Sky News. Well, let's take a look at the latest in the coronavirus pandemic, a look at the situation around us.